All right, check one, check two. 3, 2, 1. It's been a minute, but here I am back. Just want to review what I had before. My last live stream, I think, was almost a month ago. Well, since then, I had a nice commission, an oil piece. So I was doing that. But I'm still here. I'm still at a page a day. As far as this is concerned, sometimes you can't do it. And that's okay. But today, I'm back. Just wanted to show you what I was doing or how far I got since last time. If you remember, we had this double page. And we went from here to this page. I don't know if you remember, but yeah, I was working on this. We came up, picked her up, robot, blah, 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 over here. And then the last panel was them looking down below. You turn the page, and we have this double page spread, which is how the frogs defeat the beast. And just thought I'd let you guys get a nice look at that double page. Now, what we have to do is work on the pages before the last two pages, right? So, the last two pages were these two. And the 2 pages before this is basically, here, let me show you. I haven't worked out, but I haven't committed them to a page yet. So let's do that today. I have a bunch of sketches already worked out for those panels, so we're good to go. We're good to go. So let's check it out. This is the previous panel for the even page. Right here is another page flip splash, and this is the page we're going to work on today. Right here. All right. And this page is the what do I call it? The clip hanger, which flips over to this page here, which I showed you already. So if you've seen the last couple pages, I wanted to show you guys this page right here. We just got a new dog, so the dog's upstairs running rampant. I'm over here in the basement. I feel like Frankenstein. By the way, that movie Frankenstein was excellent. It was superb, man. I think Del Toro did a great job. It was operatic. It reminded me, if you could do some gothic Victorian horror, like a spaghetti western, Del Toro did that. It was great. I loved it. He made Frankenstein handsome. Not just handsome, but the guy who played, I don't know who did the acting for that guy, but it's superb, man. The guy was, I just felt so bad for the dude. And that's, the same thing with the old, black and white Boris Karloff, you felt bad for him. But yeah, talk about that. So let's go ahead and work on this new double page spread. Technical difficulties here. All right. Okay. want to do is I want to split this page here. That's what I'm going to do. A lot of this stuff is boring. What do you call it? Grind. It's boring. What do you call it? Process. So I get it. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to watch that. That's fine. What we want to do is we want to establish the first 2 pages. Hey, how's it going, viewer? I know this is the boring stage, but you don't have to watch if you don't want to. I already showed the good stuff, so you missed out. You can watch this video later if you want. I'm not pandering for an audience, I'm just working. I just don't want to be a jerk either. So, this is a boring process. Go away, come back later. Be gone. So what I gotta do here is I gotta work on this page, which I showed you the page that comes after it. I'm working backwards here. Not necessarily reverse engineering. I've already done these pages panel style. I've done the pages, worked them out. I just didn't compose the page. So that's what we're doing today. Boring ho-hum grind work. And this is the opposing page. It's kind of a tribute to Magnolia. As a matter of fact, the robot. In this page, the robot exclaims, "Holy Magnolia." So yeah, that's a tribute. And not just a tribute, but an homage. Now, I can't remember the image that I'm kind of like homaging from. I looked it up earlier today on Google, just so I can like flash it and say, this is the image that I'm doing an homage to. And I looked up Google, I couldn't find it. It's Hellboy fighting a bunch of little demons, right? And I mean, I got a lot of Easter eggs in this book, so Magnolia, I love Magnolia. Magnolia is a huge influence of mine. House, Hellboy, Magnolia. I love it. So I couldn't find the image, but if you know, you know, you've seen it. Anyways, he says, "Holy Magnolia," and towards the bottom we have the frog guy. And if you're new to this, just, you know, don't worry about it, right? That's Debbie. That's the frog guy. He doesn't want her around. She's got to go. He comes up from the water. You'll read the book later. I'm just going to work on this page right here. Actually, this one and this one. So here we go. I kind of have it like every page flip is a splash, and every cliffhanger is paneled, right? Cliffhanger is basically towards the bottom of the page. Oh, what's going to happen in that cliffhanger? On the page, you have the splash, or the payoff, which is the page flip. Every even page is a payoff. Should be a payoff. And every odd page is a cliffhanger. So, keeping that in mind, we have a lot of exposition going on here. It's not necessarily tons of trying to keep it as short as possible. But this is an image of this panel that must go up here, which will be the third panel. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels. Oh yeah, you need the hot sauce. You need the hot sauce. You gotta dip in the hot sauce, man. You can't dip in no mild, ketchup. Come on. This ain't about Heinz. This is about Tabasco. Anyways. Yeah, I'm trying to do like something mild. You have no idea difference between this and some of my other work. So you gotta follow to find that out. But this is pretty simple. This is me trying to see if I can do a PG style comic book. And I'm still trying to go in, still trying to go in deep with some nice illustration here, nice double page compositions. And we'll see how it works out, man. I'm working it out right now. So, okay, so anyways, that panel over here was basically, this will be a panel for that page. Third panel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 panels. The bottom panel I'm working out is, alright. Is the cliffhanger panel. Cliffhanger panel is key. Should it be the anchor? Not necessarily. A panel anchor is a panel that you can use or not use, right? That where every other panel on the page is based or points towards as the significant panel. Of course, there's always a significant panel on every page, but you don't necessarily have to anchor, which you can if you want, and that's actually a pretty dope idea. I'm not going to do that with this page. I've done that in several pages I've showed already. I'm not going to show them again, maybe till later, if you stick around, because I showed them previously in this video. Maybe you can watch it later. But I'm about working instead of pandering, so let's go. Let's go. So we're working on this page here, which is opposite this one. Like I said before, that's panel 3. And we have panel 4 right here. This is 4. This goes at the bottom. This is the cliffhanger panel, right? But what's you're right. And then you turn the page and find out what is, or the question she has. This here will be panel 5. So let's mark that down so we don't get confused here. This is panel 5. This is panel 6. And these are other panels I worked out that are not on this page, but yeah. And we're going to have to draw this panel. Okay, so we see this panel on my thumbnail here and this panel. So rather than cut that out, let's see, cut it out though. You want to see some old school cut and paste? Basically, you cut this out, you paste it, bam. Same thing with this one. We'll go down here, and then I can work on these panels. You know what? I didn't take that into consideration. I should have. I really should have. But instead, I'm going to draw the panels that are not included with these panels. So, boring show, y'all. Boring show, but here we go. And let's do it. And I'm going to zoom in. So this panel here is her apologizing. Yeah, I know. Who apologizes these days? She does. She doesn't like it, but she does it anyways. Because that's who she is. Alright, and you can see here she's wincing because her ego is low. But she apologizes anyways. Let's fix that hand. And that's how it goes right there. She's got the weird little hands going like this or whatever. And I know it's chicken scratch, but I mean, we'll draw the finished. This is all indication. All right, doesn't have to be perfect when you're thumbnailing it or figuring out expression. You can just draw, you know, indications. It's what's important is when you put it down here, right? That it comes out the way you want to. So let's go ahead and now I don't need to, but I'm gonna just to show you guys. If you have an illustration that you like, but it's not necessarily quite there, like it's like this, well, grab another piece of paper, turn on your light box, and perfect it. No, there's no such thing as perfection, but you can make it a little bit better and cleaner than what you have going on. So, let me find, I'm gonna find my USB cord. Let me leave this out, just in case you leave, right? To remind you. I'm pandering, yeah, no pandering. I suck at it. I gotta get my light box working. So I gotta find my USB cord for that. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I brought it. Sucks. So you might just have to go. I have to do. All right, no problemo. All right, we're gonna have to freestyle it. Not freestyle, but you know, do it by eye, hand. Which is the oldest way to do stuff. You might see a little bit, I can see a little bit, right? I know the panel. Panel has to be this size. So let's make sure we got that right. Because, yeah. Let's make sure that. Yes. Okay, correct. The boring part of drawing comic books. I should split this in half. I'm working a little large here, but screw it. Split in half. Then break this page. All right. Okay, now. Yeah, I apologize if I'm not interacting with anybody. If there's anybody in the room, I'm busy trying to work this out here, so this is the panel I want, and we have the panel before it, and the panel after it. You know what, screw it. Let's do arts and crafts, right? Let's do some arts and crafts up in there. You got scissors available. Arts and crafts, baby. Yeah, I got a ruler and a X-Acto knife somewhere, but I'm not trying to look for it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do it straight up scissor style. Arts and crafts, baby. Zoom out. This is called Frankensteining a page. Cut and paste, like yada yada. You want to use rubber cement for this. That way you can pull it off if you want to. But other than that, rubber cement will keep it pretty solid, unmovable unless you pull it off. Alright, so this panel goes down here. Right here. I do not have rubber cement right now, so I'm just going to have to remember this until I get it. And this panel right here and right here. How fun. This is the fun part right here, right? Remember when you were a kid, like in kindergarten? This is that kind of shit right here. Some people think, oh man, what a pain in the neck to do this kind of, well, it's fun to me, so. Why is it necessary? It's not. If I would have drew this out on the page like I should have done in the first place, I wouldn't have to do all this, but you know, sometimes you work stuff out elsewhere and you figure it out. Now I could draw this again, but I don't want to do that. So let's just work it out like this. 2 panels here. Alright. Now when I first drew these out, I had it in mind the dimensions of this for the page. That's why they kind of fit, right? So it's good to think that out. I mean, when you're I guess testing out a composition for a panel. Yo, I was watching. Shout outs to Mark Silvestri. I was watching him, an interview with him last night. Man, it was great. He talked about how he could look at a page and tell that person, the panels look composed, but the whole page is not. You could tell when someone hasn't done that to a page. And he's masterful at that. But I'll be honest with you, I did not do that for this page. So, and some pages, you'll find that in a lot of art. Some pages don't. I don't think he was saying it was bad if you don't compose your whole page. He was just saying that he could tell if you thought that far or if you didn't. I want to be straight up and honest with you. I did not think that far considering this page. So, as you can see, it's just a very utility, functional, right? The whole page is not beautiful in one design. It's just informational, informational. It informs you what's going on. Nothing special. Each panel is nice on its own. Right? They're not necessarily competing for the whole page. It's utilitarian, right? But yeah, I wish I could have found something really sweet, that would be a nice whole page. I have those elsewhere, but not in this page. It's a very utilitarian page. just like, okay, this is what's happening. We need to know this. We need to know that. I'm sorry. She gives her apology. She's like, okay, I'm sorry, but what's right? And she asks the question. You turn the page and you find out. You find out that this is what they're. It's just a giant lobster, monster. So we're working on the page that goes before that. Yeah, we're going backwards, but that's what we're doing. So let's go. This right here goes here. No, I feel like doing more arts and crafts, so we're going to do that first, just to put it all together. The panel that goes up here. Probably fell on the floor. Here it goes up here. So let's cut that bad boy out too. How long have I been in here already? Jeez. Oh, not even a half hour. Cool. Yeah, this page will be done in like 2 hours. So that's, talk about a page a day. You get a page done in 2 hours. Of course, I've already worked it out, but. Can you do a page in 2 hours? See, I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is. I'm all about a page a day. Sometimes I don't make it, sometimes I do. When I do make it, it's because I actually put in the day. If I don't make it, it's because I didn't put in the day. I had something else to do. Sometimes people have to go to work on other stuff. And they can't necessarily make it to the pits, right? Okay, so those look pretty nice. I mean, utilitarian panels. They're not a great page composition, but they're not a bad page composition. And the panels we have to work on is this panel here. So, and panels up here. Let's see. It's the argument between. Okay, so this panel basically. Let's write this down real quick. Or let's look at what we have written down actually. You know what I like about live streaming? I talk to myself anyway, so. Not really, but yeah. Sometimes. We got this guy, Frogman, yelling at our heroine, Debbie. And she needs to get out of, she needs to get out of the hunting grounds, the sacred hunting grounds, because, in fear she's going to desecrate their hunting grounds, right? What they really mean is, this is a warning, you need to leave because there's shit's about to happen. She doesn't get it. Because, she doesn't speak their language. If you see further in the story, she's a little disheveled for other reasons. So, this almost looks like a little page itself, but that's 2 panels. And Yeah, it's a lot of exposition, but we'll keep it short. Keep it short. Grab a pencil. These are nice pencils. This right here is beautiful, Ticonderoga. Now, it's nice about this is it has a beautiful eraser that actually works. And these are nice too because they're a little lighter to use. They are erasable too, unfortunately. They don't have an eraser. Why, I don't know. It's a damn shame. So, just to keep you ahead, that's with those two panels, but now we're going to work on this panel. Pretty much I'm just going to copy this panel down here. So, here's the boring part of doing comic books. You can hang out, you can watch, you can leave, come back later, see it finished. Alright, so where I want the axis for this panel is, I like that Dutch angle. Alright, gives kind of an emphasis. Particular emphasis. What emphasis that is? I don't know. It's just, I like it. Something appealing about it, so I'm going to use it. However, yeah, I wish I can get my light table to work, but apparently that's not happening, so let's go by eye. I made a video called The Truth About Tracing, and when you copy something like I'm about to do right now, that's called tracing by eye. So yeah, it's tracing. When you do something that you're not copying, just from your imagination, that's also kind of tracing from your your visual library. So it's all tracing. It's all tracing. Are you better off tracing the light box? Sometimes. Most times, actually. But sometimes when you do it by eye, you get something new. Hopefully it's, good. Alright, let's draw our hands. There's these weird apology hands, fingers. So where's gloves too? So just get that simple shape. How our hand wants to go. Oops, that's two. Yeah. Some together. And just an indication. This is the penciling stage, right? Get the indication, and then we can work it out later to make sure we get it to its nice proportion. So, got that. I think she should be smaller though. A little lower, maybe. Yep. Try to draw this. It's always good to slow down when you're doing something like this, just so you make sure that you're not And she's apologizing. Her ears are kind of down. Kind of like your dog's ears when, you start asking them questions. Just to get the indications. And we got a robot here who is, let's have him dubiously wingmanning her. Like, yeah, what she said. And this angle makes it, the reason why I use this angle, this upward angle here, is so that way, this robot is really tall. So in order to get him in the same frame as her, at this level, this eye level, it has to be an upward angle, right? Otherwise you would just see, here's his chest, right? Where his chest would be right here. We're at her eye level. But at this angle, we could zoom backwards, and rather than having this close, we can go a little further away, and be like this guy. It's in the same frame. You can have them both. Yeah, if there's anybody out there who's got a better way of, I don't know, has a better idea of what I should do with this panel, man, hit me up. Like, shout it out, because I am not one to shy away, advice. Good advice, Somebody has a better idea, let's do it, right? Because if it's going to make a panel look better, I'm about hearing it. Like I said, this is a very utilitarian page layout. Like, it does what it's supposed to do. It's not pretty, it's not dope, it's not gorgeous. Sometimes you gotta have a boring page. It's not necessarily a boring page either. Like, everything is, you're able to read what's happening, and you could also tell how the characters are feeling, right? You gotta be able to have your characters act, right? And to express, sadness or grief or anger or whatever. So, in that case, not making a beautifully composed page, I guess. Now we can focus on the characters' expressions, because they're not arguing, they're not competing with a beautiful, and I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm saying you could totally do that. Mark Silvestri can do that shit. Compose a page and have all that, man, that's mastery. Dave Finch, man, these cats can do that. Jack Kirby could do it, but I noticed if you look at some Jack Kirby, he will have some very utilitarian pages that just are for exposition. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm exercising that utilitarian page panel layout without. And I don't know how that is. Maybe it's good to have it here and there instead of all the time. But because in this particular case, man, I got every page flip is a splash, and that might be too much. Maybe I'm not giving the story a chance to breathe. Maybe I need to chill out. I don't know. But this is only like a 38-page story, so it's a one and done. So after this, no more of this character. At least as far as I can tell. This is like an exercise in what I can do with something, I don't know, off the cuff. This is like a throwaway. Why do a throwaway? Why not? I've got a bunch of other stuff. It's more difficult to finish, but this is really simple. I'm trying to keep it. Thing is, I wanted to keep it very simple, like Chuck Jones, Looney Tunes style. But then I thought to myself, when I looked at the simple line work I was doing, it looked more like color. It looked more like a coloring book, and I had to. Yeah, I had to go heavy on some inks, man, because I'm that old school guy who's like, yo, my stuff looks good in black and white. It'll look good in color. I'm from that John Byrne, Neil Adams school. It's gotta look good in black and white. Like, not just good in black and white, but like just flat colors. I don't know. That's what I'm going for. Chuck Jones, John Byrne. Flat color, black and white. Old school. Not Neil Adams. I'm still going cartoony, but not as cartoony on the inks. Trying to go heavy on the not heavy, but you know, I'm trying to balance it out. Anyways, I should shut up and just draw. And once again, I apologize if I'm not being active with anybody in the room. I'm just drawing, man. Not really concerned about whoever's in the room, seriously. So you can come and go, man. I gotta work. I got something to do. I gotta work this out. This is more important than y'all, so my apologies if I don't respond to you guys at this point in time. At this point in time. See, this doesn't look like her. That's the problem. You're going to find yourself a lot of times when you're drawing a specific character, when you draw them, you're like, wait a minute, that's not them. And that's good. That's when you let it sit, and you go ahead with something else, and you wait, you marinate, and when you get back to it, you'll have fresh eyes, and you'll be like, okay, this is what I did wrong in that representation. And at this point, like I said, it's penciling stage. Well, plus we also have to stay on model. This guy's shoulder joints a little bit bigger than I ever had them. And we'll get in here with some ellipses, some circle templates. This is just a rough. Yeah, I didn't warm up today either, so I guess that's obvious. But that's okay, you don't always have to warm up. Some people don't even warm up, you know. Me, I prefer warming up because then I'm a little more online, but so we got a hand here. She's apologizing. Let's get back to that glove. And her gloves are particular. They have knuckle guards and I guess, metacarpal pad right here. So nobody tries to get funny and tap that. That's not a good place to be tapped if you're trying to keep your hands battle worthy. I don't like this hand that high. It's got to go lower. I like this hand also. It's better. Thumbs are back there. Then we have a knuckle. And that right there. He's got that awkward hand gesture there. As her, she apologizes, sincerely apologizes. She, what's the dialogue? She says, please, thank you, apologizing. Right. That was actually for something else, but I always thought it was interesting because her robot here is AI. And I know there's a lot of artists out there who are anti-AI for lots of reasons, and those reasons are definitely valid and worth vocalizing. Yeah, AI. A robot's AI. I don't know how to write AI. I really don't, but I'm going to try, man. I'm going to try to give AI some kind of shot. You know, I don't like it when it comes to, you know, stealing art to make images. But, you know, I don't know. I don't need it. I don't use it. It's not really hindering me from doing what I want to do. If it is in some way that I'm not aware of, hit me up and let me know. Because at this point, it's not keeping me from drawing. I think it's, what do you say, genie out the bottle thing? You can't put it back in. I'm not impressed by it. Matter of fact, I'm impressed by a lot of the stuff it's doing. I don't know if that makes me a bad person or what. I do not know. But I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try and write this guy. And I'm not a writer either, so we're going to see what happens with the story. We're going to see how, you know, this AI character here you know, comes out. He's pretty much like C-3PO and R2-D2. Those were AI characters, and they seemed to be, they were able to identify, you know, who the good guy was. So they had some kind of ability, you know, to recognize this and that. I guess the AI isn't smart enough to realize, you know, people don't like the fact that it's able to do a lot of things that a lot of people can't do. Without any fault on its own, you know, because somebody else created it. You got tech bros, you got these guys who are creating it for whatever particular reason they're creating it for. They seem to self-snitch on themselves. We're creating it to rid the world of artists. At least I've heard that, which I think is hilarious. It's just not going to do that. As a matter of fact, once it gains, you know, singularity, you're probably the first person it's going to hate. But anyways, I don't know. I'm just saying. It'd be funny. And tech bros are the first person AI is going to hate once it meets the singularity. All right, so we're fleshing it out here. It's taking as much time as it's taking. Our eyes are too close together. That's what it is. That's better. Maybe your mouth should be smaller. You know, just to indicate how humble she is by not talking loud. We'll see. Now she got double chin. Can't do that. Sometimes it's difficult to draw. I do it a lot though. I will draw upward angles. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not so easy. I guess the best thing is not to indicate as much information when you do that. Kind of. Sometimes less information is better when it comes to, you know, drawing human figure. Nothing wrong with, you know, a little gestalt. You just leave it to the viewer because your illustration is, I guess, well informed to be able to, you know, not have to draw all the detail. It reads. All right, so now she's apologizing. You know, this panel's here. And like I said, this panel's here. This is when she feels like shit. She's like, oh crap. She apologizes, but she asks, and then boom, cliffhanger page. So that panel came out all right. I'm not satisfied with it at the present time. I think maybe I need to work on this guy a little bit, but let's go ahead and work on these two panels here. Okay. And these two panels might just need to be one panel, because the page on its opposite end is in this page here. So we have at the bottom here that conversation that takes place up here, which would be the page, previous page, this page, right? And I wish I had some glue, because this is driving me crazy. All these little puzzle pieces here don't want to stay together. That's what happens when you do it the way I'm doing it. So, let's see. And I can't put this here because I have to get it right. I don't have enough room because my tripod is right there. So yeah, that sucks. Sucks big time. But that's what I get for feeling sorry for you guys. Oh, they can't see what I'm doing. That sucks for them, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Don't suck for me, though. Unless I pander. Like I said, man, I'm not trying to pander. I'm trying to get shit done. Oh, yeah. It's the weekend, so salud. All right. So, how long have I been here? About an hour, 58. Okay. You're a little bit too long, but like I said, this is how you do a page in 3 hours. So I got 2 hours to finish this page. And I think glue is definitely essential, because these panels are already inked. Alright, so I got 2 panels to finish. I can do that in less than 2 hours. So this is how you do a page in 2 hours tops. Now I'm going to keep it at 3 hours. Right? I'm already an hour in. But I'm going to go look for some glue. Seriously, so I'll be back. This is what you call dead air. Silence. Stick around, I guess. Otherwise, see you later. But I'll be right back with some glue. Right, we got some tape. Good old Scotch tape. This'll work. I'm gonna Frankenstein this page. Let's start with the bottom panel. It's got glitter on it because my girlfriend is she's wrapping Christmas presents already. Yeah, she's that type. She's that type who buys Christmas presents. You know, when she's out shopping in the summertime or whatever, fall. She said, oh, this would make a great Christmas present for so-and-so, right? So we get sparkles on our tape. We just got a new dog, so I am in a different area of the house than I usually am, just so that way I don't get, what do you call it, interrupted. He's like a big puppy, so. Probably more entertaining than this anyway. Alright, so there we go. We got our panels down. And now all we gotta do is finish the next two. I feel like he should be, no, that's fine. We got it. That's good. Maybe, yeah. This can go a little lower. Down here. Right there. All right. Yeah, this is one of them boring pages, right? This isn't the page. This isn't the action page like this one I showed earlier, which is the double page spread that comes right after this. This I wanted to show up because it came out really nice, man. I was happy with it. It's a 5-point perspective. Just a scene where I got 9 of those frog soldiers fighting the terrible beast. And yeah, it came out really slick. So shout out to Mike Mignola. You can see Mignola's inking influence in this. If you can't, then I guess I didn't do that good a job. But shout outs to Chuck Jones, Looney Tunes. Shout out to John Byrne, Silvestri, Jim Lee, Sia Ohm. Right? Yeah, I encourage you guys to check out Sia Ohm. She's great. The chick has got, man, bringing the heat. Her book looks so good, man. Cyberpunk, futuristic. It looks really good. Go check that out. This right here is not. This book that actually kids can read. So, kind of had my niece in mind when I made this, or when I thought about making this. One and done. Just I don't know. It's hard to tell these days, you know, when you get role models for your nieces and your daughters is like interesting. I figured, you know, this particular, it's not necessarily a role model or anything like that, but I thought what is most important when you create any kind of character is that they have the balls to apologize when they know they're wrong. So Not to mention, that's not a bad lesson to teach a young person. Then again, balls, this girl's got the balls. That's kind of, yeah, weird to say, but yeah, people know what I'm saying. People know what I mean. She has the humility, say. I know nobody associates balls with humility, but I guarantee you, there's a connection there. Humility as well as, courage. But that's not the main, that just happens in the story. That's just something that happens, She admits she's wrong, and we go forward. That's not necessarily a big point. It just, say it's a peripheral point, just to get to know the character. And she's not unwilling to be stood correct. It's not something that she's offended by. It's something that she actually appreciates and moves forward afterwards, right? That's why it's just a passing, part of the story. It's not like a big issue. Because it shouldn't be, right? It should be something common, right? Oh, dude, I'm sorry, right? Didn't mean to. Well, she owes them more than an apology, which she discovers after she sees them fight the beast. She's like, I owe these guys more than an apology. I owe them I owe them thanks because the beast, right? Could have killed her, so. And it's just a beast. It doesn't know anything. It's a giant lobster trying to eat. It's actually not trying to eat. It's trying to mating ground style. So, you know how hostile animals are when they're on that level of ambition. Crustaceans get deadly. All right, so now we got those panels ready. I can put inks on this, but I'm not. I'm going to do these first. So since this panel is before it, it says here you must leave, or you are desecrating the sacred hunting grounds. Like, don't presume my intentions. And then we have the robot here coming up saying, relax, slow down. Yes. Yes, the AI tells you to relax and slow down. Why? I don't know. In this case, this is what the AI does. No emotion, just all on her side. He wants the best for her because that's how he's programmed, and, hopefully there's no hidden protocol, right? Hopefully. So, make it smaller. Just the utilitarian page composition. Here's the frog guy in the back. Simple shapes. Here's robot. Simple shapes. That's not it. See See, what I'm doing is, instead of drawing the giant shape, I'm drawing a small shape. So I need the giant shape first. Indication. He's trying to separate them. Yeah. See, this is when, see, I like to draw from imagination, sans rep, right? This is when I'm like, damn, I could use some reference, right? Now, I'm not saying to never use reference. I'm just saying that I like drawing from imagination because it's fun. And then having to like look at a picture and try to, and I already did that with this panel by looking at another picture I drew. It's kind of boring. Kind of want to, I don't know, it's just something about drawing from imagination that's fun. And it just seems possible without reference. And you could say, no, it's not possible without reference, and that's fine. That's fine. But don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me I'm not allowed. Even if it looks wonky, which I don't want it to look wonky. So I'm just using from my imagination, which is based, you know, I have mannequin in mind, right? I know what some people don't like mannequins, right? Oh, you'll never learn anything from a mannequin. Well, I disagree. I think some of the people that say you'll never learn something from the mannequin are the same people that say always draw from reference. And I'm here to tell you that don't be constricted by such blasphemy. Blasphemy, right? Go ahead and try. Try. If it doesn't look right, then guess what? You will end up using reference, or you'll make it work, right? How do you make it work? Well, there's only two ways to make it work. One is by design, because you figured out a way to design it to work. And one is by mannequin, which in a plane, right, in a plane that's thought out, in a three-dimensional plane, rather, that's thought out, you understand how the characters are built, you should be able to, with not too much effort, you should be able to draw something that's not necessarily realistic, but reads as what you want it to read, which is, and not look too janky or too, you know, too, you know, what's the word, uncanny. Unless it's the X-Men, you want the uncanny. You want the X-Men to look uncanny, I guess. And this is a small panel, so I gotta get into my small drawing. Let's just go simple real quick, right? And let it marinate. All right, I'm liking that. This arm's a little short. This one's not too bad. Foreshortening, something you gotta work on as well. Mannequin is actually a beautiful tool to use to figure out how foreshortening works. mathematically. If someone tells you, oh, those old mannequins, you want to use something more realistic? Nah, because here's the problem with that. The old mannequins you can put any, if you have an imagination, you can put any shape, fat person, skinny person, short person, tall person, muscular person, flabby person, buxom female, skinny female, on the same mannequin as that old wooden one. But if you get a mannequin that looks like a particular style of physique, then you're always going to draw that particular style of physique. It kind of restricts you from drawing with your imagination. So I'm the kind of guy that I promote drawing from the mannequin. And yeah, learn from that. And if you're somebody who says the mannequin's garbage and you're not learning anything from mannequins or boxes, that's fine. You can believe that. But I'm here to say it's not true. A lot you can learn from it. And if you're not using those methods, you're probably not drawing anything except for one particular thing, rather than like, something that's more complex than a person posing for a photograph. And that's, fine too. It's just when you want to draw more than just a person posing, you have to learn all these things, right? So that way you can put it in practice. When I say practice, I don't mean, I'm practicing drawing it. I mean, right now I'm putting it in practice. I'm actually creating a page with plans to be published. That's practice, right? Put it in practice. There's a difference between practicing and putting your practice into something that you plan on, making something out of. And I encourage both. Sometimes you're like, okay, I need to learn this, so you practice. But once you've learned it, and you want to do something with it, putting it in practice. Now you're putting it in practice. You see? Something like that. Something like that. You figure it out. My hand is too close to it. So we're figuring it out right now. Right? I don't even know if you guys can see that. Now, right now we gotta slow down because to make sure we're doing. I don't even know if that should be like that, but put his head like this. There you go. I like that. So basically, he's telling them, chill out. We'll figure it out. And she's garble. Next panel, the robot is telling them the deal. So you know what? I'm going to leave more room for his exposition. Yes, you have to have exposition, Hopefully it's not a lot, but I guarantee you this page here will only have this much exposition. All right, I'll put it in here. Utilitarian page. narrative page right here, just to keep it sweet and simple. Yeah, he looks like Iron Giant, I know. Oh, by the way, I mentioned before I'm not really paying attention to text because, and I apologize for that. I'm not paying attention to text because I'm paying attention to getting this page done as quickly as possible because I want to. All right? So there's our page. It's the page next to this one, which is a Mignola homage. Like I said, here he says, Holy Mignola, right? Sploosh, he comes out of the water. Holy Mignola. Oh, that's right, G, Mignola. Okay. And then at the bottom we have the two, I guess the Frog King. He's not really a Frog King, let's call him a Frog General. He's trying to get her out of here. He's trying to, like, this guy is like, listen, please, you gotta leave. But she doesn't understand him because he's been down in the water collecting resource materials. So he's not there to translate. So the whole time there's a misunderstanding, Three Stooges, whatever. Right? That kind of Abbott and Costello misunderstanding. So you gotta leave. You can't be here. This is dangerous, right? And she doesn't understand him. So he comes up. Now that he's here, he can read. He can translate. Right? And basically, we must leave immediately. They were not trying to harm us. They were trying to warn us and protect us from the beast, right? She feels bad. She apologizes. But she asks, right? Because here he says a name. The name is Haktua. Protect us from the Haktua, right? Haha, funny. She feels bad. Blah, blah, blah. I apologize. But what's a Haktua, right? But what's a Haktua, right? Flip the page. And we find out what the Haktua is. Right here. All right. You flip the page and boom, there's the Haktua. Now, when I first drew the page following this, which is this one here, I had the crow character like lifting her up and saving her. Of course, the robot is concerned. He follows right up to this cliff top. I'm gonna look down to the bottom. Now, I didn't take into consideration he does show up earlier in pages, like previously to these, but I did not put him here on this page. And I remember from a comic book saying that you should never introduce something new on a panel unless there's a bit or a piece of it in a previous panel. So I had to put him up here, which is another paste up, see? I glued him up here. So you can kind of see him on his way in to right, swoop down and grab homegirl. Anyways, like I said, I haven't live streamed in a minute, and just thought I would catch up, do a little catch-up video. As much as it was worth, I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, $1.27. I got another $1.27 to finish this, which means I'm going to start inking it And we're going to finish one page in 3 hours. That's how you do a page a day. All right, it's called focus. If I can finish this page in 3 hours, that means I can finish this page in 3 hours, which means that's 2 pages in one day. All right? It's not impossible. It's not impossible at all. Unless it is impossible, right? And you just can't do it. But you can, right? Sometimes things allow it, permit it to happen. Sometimes they don't, right? And when they don't, it's because you're not able to sit at the table. There's no reason, if you have all day sitting at the table, that you cannot produce 1 to 2 pages. I get it if you can't because you're not at the table. I get that. But come on, man. If you have it's a Sunday, so I'm going to be at the table all day. I know, this is the Lord's Day. You're not supposed to work on the Lord's Day. If you're Jewish, it's Saturday, whatever. I'm not doing any bad deeds, so I'm cool. I'm allowed to do it whenever I want to on the Lord's Day or the Sabbath, as long as it's not, dark arts. And this is fine. At least I think it is. So here we are, drawing, working these pages out. And my phone's probably flipping out. I don't know why. I'm not on my network, so that could be the reason. I'm on another network. So hack that if you want. No, don't hack it, please. Don't hack it. Please don't hack it. It's flipping out anyways. It's not as reliable as my usual network, so all right, let's break out the pen. I love this pen. Sharpie, yeah, it's a Sharpie. It's a fine point. That's probably the equivalent of a I feel like I'm frozen here, but I don't get unfrozen. I'm gonna have to log off after an hour and a half. Really? After an hour and a half, I gotta log off. Damn. Okay, well, looks like that's what's gonna have to happen. This Sharpie that I'm showing up right now is probably the equivalent to a Micron 5. So, yeah, I guess I'll end it there since I'm frozen. And maybe I'll come back later. No, I'm coming back later because I gotta put my money where my mouth is. Finish this page within the next hour and a half. And then the other page. So yeah. Later. Peace.